Even before President of the Kurdistan Regional Government, KRG, Masoud Barzani declared in June that he planned an independence referendum later this year, Washington made it clear that its old ally must not expect U.S. support for the Kurds' secession from Iraq. The United States joined the United Nations and an array of regional and world nations in taking Baghdad's side in the dispute and urged Barzani to scrap the September 25 unilateral referendum. Acting on an unprecedented scale, the White House, State Department, and Defense Department each publicly opposed the Kurdish vote. The Central Intelligence Agency also reportedly tried to put pressure on the KRG leadership to have second thoughts. Yet, Barzani brushed aside all objections and went on to present the referendum for breaking away from Iraq as a fait accompli. He even blamed Washington's opposition for Baghdad's tough stance on the poll. Moreover, Barzani's supporters accused U.S. envoy to the International Anti-Terrorism Coalition Brett McGurk, who had been vocal in rejecting the vote, of betraying the Kurds, likening him to former U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, whom the Kurds accuse of selling them out to former dictator Saddam Hussein. Barzani's defiant posture caused bristling anger among administration officials who expressed concerns that the referendum would undermine the war against the Islamic State, IS, terror group. U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson blasted the poll as illegitimate and said Washington would not recognize the independence referendum in Kurdistan and would continue to support a united, federal, democratic and prosperous Iraq. Yet, Washington's anger did not end with the condemnation of the vote, and it showed signs that it could go on the offensive diplomatically to keep Barzani's ambitions in check. Reports have surfaced that the U.S. government has stopped paying the KRG's Peshmerga fighters' salaries after an agreement expired over the summer. Under the deal negotiated by the former Obama administration in July 2016, Washington agreed to pay stipends to some 36,000 Peshmergas to lure them into doing battle against IS in Iraq. The agreement was expected to be renewed over the summer for another year, but the Trump administration has showed no interest in renewal after the KRG pursued the controversial referendum on secession. It therefore seems that Barzani made a serious miscalculation by embarking on a risky and unchecked escalation in a volatile region where the United States feels it has too many interests at stake. In the run-up to the referendum, spokesman for Barzani repeatedly told the international media that U.S. statements opposing the poll were pro forma and that behind the scenes they had guarantees of Washington's support. This could be either the result of overconfidence or simply falling into a trap set by some American interlocutors who seem to have misled Barzani, compounding the Kurdish leader's inability to accurately gauge the administration's reaction. The KRG hired several former top U.S. officials and diplomats such as former UN ambassadors Almaty Khalilzad and Peter Galbraith, an ex-envoy to Serbia, to work as paid advisors to Barzani and to lobby the U.S. administration on the KRG's behalf. Using expensive PR firms, these and other middlemen lobbied intensively to sell Barzani's push for independence to the U.S. media and in Washington's political corridors. They seem to have created the impression with Barzani that Washington would not torpedo the Kurdish dream of independence as it has done several times over the past century. What happened, however, is that these former U.S. diplomats turned political lobbyists, together with the self-promoting French writer Bernard-Henri Lévy, widely blamed for the chaos in Libya, simply misled Barzani and made him also misread Washington.